The world of drones never stays still. Every year, new technology pushes the limits of what these tiny flying machines can do. And yet, among all the major players in the industry, one name seems to rise above the rest. DJI. For more than a decade, DJI has been shaping the way people think about drones. Not just as expensive tools for filmmakers, but as something anyone can enjoy. And now, with the arrival of the DJI Neo 2, that story is about to take a big new step forward. The DJI Neo 2 is not a rumor anymore. It has passed through FCC certification in the United States, which is often one of the last gates before a product becomes real. FCC approval tells us two things. First, the device exists and has reached a level of readiness for consumer launch. Second, its release is not a matter of years away. It is close. And with that confirmation, the excitement around the Neo 2 has started to spread far beyond the usual drone hobbyist circles. Travel vloggers, content creators, educators, and even families are watching this launch very closely. Why? Because the Neo 2 is shaping up to be the lightweight drone that finally checks almost every box. To understand why this matters, we need to go back to where the story began. The original DJI Neo earned its place by being different. At a time when drones were often bulky, complicated, and intimidating for beginners, the Neo was deliberately made small, simple, and light. Its key strength was not just its size but its weight. It came in under the critical 250-gram limit. And for anyone who doesn't follow drone laws closely, this might sound like just a number. But that number is everything. In many countries, drones under 250 grams are considered light enough to skip registration requirements. That means no paperwork, fewer restrictions, and much more freedom for ordinary users. The Neo was designed for that sweet spot. You could buy it, take it out of the box, and start flying without wading through government forms. For beginners, this was liberating. For travelers, it was a blessing. For parents buying a drone for their kids, it was peace of mind. This was the identity of the Neo series, a gateway drone. Friendly, accessible, and simple enough that anyone could enjoy it without worrying about breaking laws or breaking the bank. But of course, compromises came with that. The original Neo had modest camera capabilities. It was decent, but not extraordinary. Its flight time was limited. Its transmission system was basic. For casual flying, this was acceptable. But as soon as people started comparing footage from the Neo to DJI's more premium models like the Mavic Air or the Mini series, the gap was obvious. That is where the Neo 2 comes in. DJI's plan with the Neo 2 is not just to repeat the same formula. They want to keep the accessibility that made the Neo beloved, while solving the weaknesses that kept it from being taken seriously by creators. In other words, DJI wants the Neo 2 to still be the beginner's friend but also the travel vlogger's secret weapon. They want it to be a drone that educators can trust in classrooms, that parents can give to teenagers, but also a drone that a YouTuber can throw in a backpack and use to capture cinematic shots on a trip to Bali. That is an ambitious mission. But based on what we know, DJI seems ready to deliver. Let's start with design. One of the most noticeable upgrades in the Neo 2 is its dual-layer propeller guards. At first, this might sound like a small thing. Who cares about guards? But anyone who has ever flown a drone as a beginner knows how valuable this is. Propellers are fragile. They are also dangerous if you accidentally touch them while spinning. With the original Neo, a minor crash into a wall or a tree could mean replacing a propeller or worse, ending your flying session for the day. With the Neo 2's reinforced guards, those accidents become much less stressful. Beginners can make mistakes without paying a high price. Parents can feel safer handing the drone to their kids. And educators can use it in workshops without worrying about fragile parts snapping every hour. This change transforms the Neo 2 from a toy that you need to treat gently into a learning tool that can survive everyday bumps. It signals DJI's confidence in aiming this drone at the widest possible audience. But durability alone does not make a drone exciting. What really turns heads is the camera. And here, the Neo 2 looks like a huge step forward. The original Neo had a small sensor, which did the job but left many shots looking flat or noisy in less than perfect lighting. With the Neo 2, leaks point to a 1/1.3-inch CMOS sensor. To keep this simple, bigger sensors capture more light. More light means better performance in dark conditions, sharper details, and more vibrant colors. This isn't just a technical upgrade. It changes the way your footage looks. Imagine trying to film a sunset with the original Neo. The sky would often blow out into pure white, while the landscape below would sink into dark shadows. With a bigger sensor, the Neo 2 can balance both, preserving details in the clouds and keeping the ground rich with color. This is what photographers call dynamic range, and it is the difference between footage that looks amateur and footage that looks cinematic. Then there's video. The Neo 2 is expected to record in 4K at 60 frames per second. For context, 4K resolution captures an incredible amount of detail. At 60 frames per second, the motion looks smooth and lifelike. This combination was once reserved for much larger drones costing far more. To see it in a sub-250G drone is nothing short of remarkable. It means travel vloggers can shoot professional-grade footage without carrying a heavy drone case. It means beginners can upload drone shots to TikTok or Instagram that look like they came from a film crew. And because DJI is likely to include AI-powered image processing, the Neo may second even adjust exposure, color, and sharpness on its own. This removes the learning curve of manual settings. You simply fly, press record, and the drone handles the technical side. The result? Pro-looking footage, minimal effort. Beginners benefit the most here because they get results they are proud of without months of practice. Of course, every drone pilot quickly learns that battery life is the most limiting factor in flying. The original Neo gave about 18 minutes per charge, which often felt short. With the Neo 2, the battery has been upgraded to 1,660 mAh, roughly a 10% improvement. Early reports suggest 20 to 25 minutes of flight per charge. Now, some might say, that's only a few minutes more. But anyone who has flown knows how valuable those minutes are. Extra time means you can finish your orbit shot without rushing. It means you can attempt a second take without nervously watching the battery percentage tick down. And for creators, it means less stress and more creativity. In calm conditions, that 25 minutes could stretch nicely. In windy situations, it might drop closer to 20. But either way, the Neo 2 is clearly an improvement over its predecessor, offering just enough breathing room to make a difference in real-world use. Battery upgrades are important, but flight features matter just as much. DJI has built a reputation for including intelligent flight modes that help beginners feel like pros. The Neo 2 is rumored to inherit this tradition with smart tracking features. Imagine jogging through a park while the drone follows smoothly behind, keeping you in frame. Or imagine selecting a cinematic flight path with one tap, and the drone executes a sweeping curve that would take an experienced pilot hours to perfect manually. These features are not gimmicks. They are the reason DJI drones feel magical to new users. They transform complex piloting into accessible creativity. For the Neo 2, these modes could be the difference between average hobbyist footage and share-worthy clips that look professional.